Hello, listeners. This is Kat, and welcome back to Put Your Hands Up Podfics. This will be the continuation of Spirit. This will be Part 12, Chapter 12, entitled Dorms. After his terrifying ordeal meeting All for One, Izuku stuck with his eyes glowing white. He still doesn't understand what happened to Oboro, or why his body still looks like he's being possessed. His parents take him to the police after his encounter with the League, and Izuku tells them everything about Shigaraki's ghost and All for One, even what happened to Oboro. Izuku learns in the police station that All Might defeated All for One in battle, the villain now locked in Tartarus. All Might had sustained heavy damage, and he was forced to retire in the wake of the battle. Izuku watches the fight on TV, watching the ghosts around All Might move as if they're a part of the hero. It's odd to watch. "We're moving to UA, Izashi tells him, when they get out of the police station, Izuku looking up at his dad's in shock. "Cementos is working on building new student and staff dorms as we speak. It's for everyone's safety. We'll have a family apartment together on campus," Aizawa continues. "But you'll also have a dorm with the rest of your classmates. I'm sorry to spring this on you so suddenly, kid, but it's for all of our safety." Izuku nods. "I'm fine with that. All for One. He knew about you guys. He threatened you too, I think. It was all confusing. I want you both to be safe too." Izuku occupies his worried mind over the next few days with packing, sorting out which items he wants to take to the dorms and which he wants to go to his parents' new apartment at UA. It's weird seeing the bedroom he slept in since he was 4 look so empty, but Izuku's just relieved they'll all be moving to the safest place he can. Aizawa tells them that all of 1A has been approved to live in the dorms, and Izuku's looking forward to living with his friends. They move on a Saturday, Izuku first helping his dads unpack the new apartment before heading out to the dorms. Heights Alliance, where 1A is living, is large and impressive. Izuku is sharing a floor with Hitoshi, Shoto, and Ida, and he's happy with the size of his room. They each have their own bathrooms and balconies, which is a great bonus. Izuku keeps his dorm simple, just brings what he needs for school along with some books he's reading, clothes, and his favorite comfortable bedding. Since his parents' place is less than a 5-minute walk away from his dorm, he can always head over if he needs anything. The first night in the dorms, his class decides to have a movie night, and Izuku's happy to reconnect with his friends. Everyone's a little put off by Izuku's glowing eyes at first, but they slowly get used to it. After everyone does a quick tour of each other's rooms, they settle in the common area and talk for a while. "Hey, we should watch a horror movie," Kaminari exclaims after everyone's sitting around on the couches or the floor. "Izuku, you can tell us how realistic it is." Izuku just sighs, looking over at Kaminari with a grin. "Just because I can see ghosts doesn't make me an authority on scary movies." "Maybe we should just tell scary stories instead," Mina suggests excitedly. "Ooh, or we could do a seance." "Do you guys think the dorms are haunted?" Jiro asks, crossing her arms. "They were built like yesterday." "They are," Izuku says in a bored tone. "You're all haunted. Almost everyone in this class is." A silence follows before there's an explosion of questions. Izuku regrets bringing it up slightly, but since watching his classmates as ghosts all year, he figures the least he can do is finally explain. He remembers Oboro mentioning to the class at the beginning of the year when he had first possessed Izuku that there was a lot of ghosts around their class, but Izuku's not sure if anyone took that in at the time. "Come on, Izuku, you can't just say that and not tell us," Zero pouts, leaning back on the couch. "I want to know about the ghosts." "Not all of you have ghosts," Izuku says quietly. "Are you sure you want me to talk about them? In my experience, this stuff is usually sensitive. It might bring up sad memories." They assure him they want to know, so Izuku starts off with Kirishima, smiling at the ghost dog curling around his feet. "Kirishima, Taro's still with you." Izuku smiles fondly at the dog. "He's a really good dog, kind of distracting in class, though. He barks a lot." Kirishima grins, leaning forward. "Aw, I miss him. Is there any way I could see him?" Izuku shrugs, about to say no when an idea occurs to him. He walks over to where Kirishima is sitting and looks down at Taro, who's curled on his classmate's feet. There's silence in the room as Izuku reaches down and touches Taro, his eyes glowing a little brighter. He hears gasps around the room, and Izuku looks down at Taro to see that he's now visible to everyone. A little glow around his body, the only thing to give away that he's not a living dog. "Taro?" Kirishima says, and Taro jumps up to lick Kirishima's face. Kirishima laughs, hugging and petting the dog happily. "Aw, who's a good boy? You are!" Kirishima laughs, scratching Taro's ears. Taro looks up at Kirishima, wagging his tail for a moment, before he leans up and licks Kirishima's cheek. Then, as quickly as he'd shown himself, Taro vanishes. Izuku stares. Taro was gone. He had moved on like his mom, like Kenji, the poltergeist from his youth, or Kaio, the girl from the park. He just moved on, Izuku says, stunned. He really just wanted to get you to pet him one more time. Kirishima smiles, looking a little emotional. Thanks, Izuku. The rest of the class is silent. Izuku knows there were still those who weren't 100% convinced of his quirk. It will be hard for anyone to refute now, after what they've just seen. What other ghosts are there? Uraraka asked, looking a little odd. Can we see more? Izuku swallows hard, shaking his head. Taro was easier because he wasn't human. Human spirits, it takes time, practice. It's dangerous. I can talk to them for you, though, and tell you who's here, if you want. Izuku knows he must make an ominous picture, his eyes glowing white and his light blue hair moving on its own. He sits cross-legged and looks out over his classmates and their ghosts, feeling a little bit anxious. Do I have any ghosts? Koda asks quietly, looking at Izuku with an anxious expression. Izuku smiles at his gentle classmate, eyeing the many animals that curl around Koda. He sees a cat, 2 birds, a rabbit, and a snake. Lots of animals, Izuku beams. They're not your pets, though. I think it's just wild animals who like you. They're not around you all the time, but they're there now. Koda beams, looking thrilled at this, before Izuku turns to the others. Those are all the animal spirits. There's people here, too. Lots of them, actually. Izuku answers questions from his classmates, talks to Hagakure about her grandmother, who sits behind her. He learns the energetic younger spirit around Mina is her older cousin, the ghost who's almost always singing is Sato's father. More than one of his classmates sheds a tear as Izuku talks, and he's shocked when the ghosts get in on it. Tell my little Tenki I love him, a woman next to Kaminari says. He was always such a good boy, even though I only knew him as a baby. Kaminari, your great-grandmother is with you, Izuku says gently, watching Kaminari's eyes widen. She wants you to know that she loves you. It's exhausting work, but eventually Izuku identifies every ghost and spirit in the room. There's a number of his classmates without ghosts, but Izuku's grateful that he's made connections with all the spirits that are here. Hey, how about you, Izuku? Zero asks. Don't you have a ghost attached to you? Izuku nods. Yeah, Oboro. You met him on our first day at lunch. I haven't seen him in a few days, though. Usually it looks like this when he's possessing me, when my eyes glow and stuff. We're in kind of a weird place. He'll be back, Itoshi says. He always is. Katsuki snorts. Isn't that the damn truth? Guy can't leave well enough alone. He gives good advice, Shoto says calmly. Oboro, I mean. Is it true he was best friends with your parents, Izuku? Izuku nods, and tells his whole class the tragic and wonderful life of Oboro Shirakumo. All right, listeners. A little bit of a shorter chapter with Izuku and Class 1A all moving into the dorms. Let me know your thoughts and reactions to everything so far. This concludes Chapter 12. Chapter 13 will be up next. And as always, thank you so much for listening.